It's a stepping stone towards the next thing, and the next thing, and
Despite
the next thing.
the noise, focus on what is essential.
I knew the general direction. I was determined to go in that direction.
That's all I did. I just kept showing up.
Welcome to Lessons from the Legends.
Hello, Supers! Welcome back to Paano Ba To? And for this episode, we will continue taking notes from the legends. 2 weeks ago, the video was all about putting together all the best advice from the Legends Only episodes. Last week was a powerful compilation of stories on how they handled failure. For this week, let's find out, how do they just keep going? When things are hard, when we feel low, sometimes it's hard to feel motivated. But how do the legends do it? Let's find out.
Yeah, and so for those who are going into, say, the pounding of the pavement and applying for jobs, yes, of course, be optimistic, be starry-eyed, be hopeful about it, and and sometimes the first job that you get is not going to be the one you're going to love right away. And I mean, I think everyone in any career has done the, okay, this job sucks, but I need to get a paycheck. Everybody has had at least a few of those. Or, yes, I'm doing what I love, but this paycheck sucks. So, I mean, there's also that. But sometimes you have to go through the slog of it in order to gain the experience you're going to need when the really, really big break arrives. And that is irrespective of your occupation or your profession. Sometimes, you're going to be dropped into something you won't enjoy, but you're going to gain so much experience that you then bring into the next stepping stone. And it's a constant, there's no end destination. It's a stepping stone towards the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. I mean, I'm 50 and I still think, what is the next thing? And what might be the next thing after that? I like living hopefully. It's fun. And it's much more joyful than thinking, I'm 50, I'm getting to the end of my whatever. I'm like, no. It only ends when you die.
What did you learn from him or the relationship that contributed to the woman and the leader we know now?
Ako yung number one siguro, and this is like a small thing. Parang looking back, it was actually a very big thing. Yung asawa ko kasi, Bianca, I was so young. He was 7 years older than I am. So nung mag-asawa na kami, he was already busy campaigning kasi he was already a candidate. So parang our early years, he was so busy. So yung sa amin, hindi kami nag-aaway. Ang gusto sabihin, parang even if I try to pick up a fight, parang hindi niya ako pinapatulan. and at first, it was so frustrating. Lalo pa yung wala pa kaming anak. Kasi kami pa lang eh. So all my attention was focused on him. Of course, I was working, I was a law student. Pero syempre, he was the center of my universe.
Mm-hmm.
Pero pag naiinis ako, hindi niya ako pinapatulan. Parang sa akin, Bianca, ano yun eh. Dati irritant siya. Pero later on in life, from that exercise, I learned a lot from it. Ngayon, ganun na din ako. Ang gusto kong sabihin, parang yung asawa ko, we were important to him, pero he was so focused on what was important. Na yung mga maliliit na bagay, parang he didn't allow it to get in the way of the more important things. Parang ganon. And that was a very important lesson that I learned from him. Lalo na ngayong wala na siya na there's so much noise around me. Parang ang natutunan ko is, despite the noise, focus on what is essential. And I think that was the most important lesson I got from him. And it has allowed me to be zen about so many things. Kahit ang gulo ng mundong pinasok ko, klaro sa akin parati yung focusing on the more important things.
To those who say, I haven't achieved anything at 20s, don't despair, right? If I'm an example, I really revved up only at 40. But prior to that, my education prepared me for it. Even at the time that I was in college, I knew that I wanted to go into journalism. I was determined that I was going to have a career, but I also knew in the back of my mind that at this point in our life, my husband's building up the blocks towards his own career was something that I had to support. It was a fun experience because you know how it is when you're in the States. Kayo lang, you only had each other to depend on. In fact, one of the things that I remember so well is, we were living in this tall apartment building when he was a student, right? Every time you fight, you just want to get rid of him. The only place I could go to was the top floor, which was the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
That was all I could do. And when I got to the top floor, I had nobody to talk to except the machines that were running and drying our clothes. There I learned that, you have to solve your own problems, that you cannot run to some neighbor and ask for help. You had to be your own therapist or be your own counselor. And then I had to go back to the apartment because there was nowhere else I could go. Make it up, talk about it, because there was this baby to take care of. There was the grocery I had to go the next day. I had to cook the next meal because life had to go on. In that sense, yes, it's nice that you bring it up. You connect the dots. And when I got home, I promptly looked for a job because I knew that I wanted to work and I wanted to have a career. I didn't know exactly what, but I knew the general direction and I was determined to go in that direction. In connecting the dots, the other dot that was there was when we set up Probe. And when we were just beginning Probe, we were saying, how are we going to buy equipment, have the proper cameras and stuff like that. So my husband and I, my very supportive husband, thought we have some savings from his salary because he worked a few years in the state. And we poured our savings into the first camera, the first tripod, the first microphone set, the first boom mic of Probe. That was how it happened on a physical level.
In your career, it hasn't always been highs. It's been a mix
No.
of high
Mm-mm.
points and low
Mm-mm.
points. How did you power through all those low points to get to 35 years and to get to the Regine Velasquez-Alcasid we see today?
I just keep showing up. Word yan ng asawa ko eh. You have to show up. Kahit ano pang nangyari sa'yo, kahit anong mood meron ka, depressed ka. But when you have a schedule, you have to show up. That's all I did. I just kept showing up. Kaya may boses, kaya wala, may sakit, malapit na mamatay, I would show up. It's so like that. Talagang I'd show up. Alam mo yung kasabihan sa industry na the show must go on. I guess they say that because your audience don't care what you're going through personally. They don't have to know. They don't care. They're there to be entertained because they probably have their own thing. They're probably going through some heavy stuff too, like you. Kasi lahat naman tayo, we all go through it. Sa thinking ko, if I don't show up, hindi mo nagawa yung what you're supposed to do, what they're paying for you. You're getting paid to do that. Kung anong state of mind meron ako that particular moment. Singing really helps me. Performing really heals my soul. And, the adrenaline that you feel, like I said, the love that you feel from your audience instantly heals whatever it is, whatever funk I am in at that moment. Wala akong alam na tao na buong buhay niya yung smooth sailing. Wala akong kilalang ganon. It's always up and down and up and down. And same thing with sa career, no? And that's what makes it exciting, I suppose. And imagine if talagang smooth sailing, parang siguro after a while, parang this is not doing anything for me anymore. So wala na, tapos na. Yung ganon, it makes it more exciting for me, I guess. Tapos parang I have this part of me again na pag merong nangyaring hindi ko masyadong gusto, I have to prove myself again. Kasi you're always being given a chance naman to prove yourself. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better than ever. I'm gonna do, things that I've never seen before. Yung mga ganun ba? So I think for 35 years, that's how I've been handling the ups and the downs.